I didn't. Call this meeting to order, November 18th, 2024, 6 p.m. Can I get a roll call?
Yes, you can. Mr. Smith?
Here.
Oh, let's start over again. Mr. Sterling?
Here.
Mr. Thompson?
Here.
Mr. McKnight?
Present.
Mrs. Carlson?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Still here.
Mrs. Hastings? Here. Mrs. Meeks here. Sorry about that, Larry. I mean, Mr. Smith.
Still here.
Chris Arduino, recording
I looked at
secretary.
it.
Troy Yarbrough, Superintendent.
Shelley Wagner, Human Resources.
Michelle Earp, Curriculum and Instruction.
Jason Bloom, Communications and Community Relations.
Josh Rand, Business and Operations.
That's true. That's
All
good.
right, thank you. And with that, can I get everybody to rise?
You guys
And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Rand.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Josh. All right, with that, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion. Second.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Mrs. Carlson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings?
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
All right. Dr. Yarbrough.
All right, following, Josh is hard to do, but reminder what we do. The mission of the Harlan Consolidated School District as a vital part of the community is to help diverse learners realize their unlimited potential by providing an educational program dedicated to academic excellence and the development of strong character in a safe and respectful learning environment.
Thank you, sir. Can I get a motion to approve the board meeting minutes, October 28th, 2024?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Mrs. Carlson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings?
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
All right,
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
and with that, Jason Bloom.
Good evening, everyone. This evening, we have one of our athletic teams here. So this evening, we did have a few cancellations due to illness, and so we have plenty to recognize this evening. It is my pleasure to introduce the Harlem High School girls flag football team, their coaching staff, and we're going to hear a little bit about their program. Obviously, you all know as a board that this is a newer program for us, but one that's seen a lot of success and one that's been followed closely. I know many of you have been to games and cheered this team on, and so I'm going to turn it over and let the coach talk a little bit about the season. We've had some recognition for some of our athletes as well, but also just to talk a little bit about this building process, as this is a newer sport for us. So I'll turn it over to Coach Dotson.
All right. My name is Coach Nate Dotson. I am the girls flag football coach. My assistants here, Shauna Sterling, Michael Brown. A lot of our girls actually right now are playing basketball. They have freshmen have a game in, I think, Elgin, and then JV and varsity have a game right now at the high school against Dixon. So a lot of them have had a prior commitment. But we have Ava, Miley, Leah, Cadence, and Aurora. So these are just a few of our girls. We had about 25 this year. So our season, we finished 7-2 in the conference, 8-3 overall. We were able to beat Belvedere North in our first playoff game at home. Then we ended up losing to Guilford, who was really good. They finished second in the state, 11th in the nation. So 2 of our 3 losses were to a very, very quality team. So about this program, first I have to thank our athletic director, Rita Allison. I have to thank Wanda Cooper for all the time that she's given us and helped me with getting everything set for this team. I also need to thank you guys, because you guys allowed us to have this season. I know last year we were run through the Park District, but in February we became official IHSA sport, and all of you were on board. And a lot of you have been out to games either last year or this year, and I just can't say thank you enough for the amount of support you guys have given us to allow us to grow this program. And this program is growing, not just in the state, in the nation, but here in Harlem. One thing that I'm really proud of is with Coach Sterling's help, we've been able to kind of help create a middle school team through the Park District. We had over 20 girls from our middle school play for the Park District. And there's so many more. They're just, I want to do this, I want to do this. And we had a few of them out for our Freeport game. which was our homecoming game. And the smiles on the sideline and just that excitement of, we want to play for you guys next year. You know, this is really catching fire, and it really is just growing. I know the Park District this year is going to have a middle school league, so it'll be just like one Harlem team, then all the area Rockford schools. But we had so many girls come out through the middle school that they had to break it off into 2 teams. And
Our
one of the-
second team,
Yeah.
we had one full team, all 7th and 8th grade middle school girls, and then the second team had about 5 of our 8th grade girls, and that team actually won their competition. They won the championship for the Park District. So one of our teams actually got champions, so it was super cool. They're chomping at the bit, like literally chomping at the bit.
You know, and I've heard so many girls at the high school too, like, I think I'm gonna come out next year and play. And it's catching fire. And it's a positivity that it's great to see throughout the community. I've heard so many times through either people I graduated with or graduates of Harlem saying, God, I wish we had this when I was in school. And they're really buying into just, hey, we're gonna go out and support these girls. One of the coolest compliments I think that we got was we were told that we traveled the best. Not our team, but our fan base. So many times we'd go to an away game, we'd have more fans than the home team. Okay, so this is really catching fire throughout the community. Some highlights that we had 5 girls that were named all conference. That was second most in the conference behind Guilford. So we had Hari Young, we had Gigi Nowling, Madison King, Ava Fitzsimmons, and Melanie Ellis. All 5 girls are returning. Really excited about that. Beyond that, we had Hari with over 900 yards rushing in 11 games, which is very impressive considering all you gotta do is pull a flag. She had 4 runs of 80 yards. So with our game, you start at the 20, and 4 times she got the ball and just took it right to the house. If you want to talk about a momentum changer, that was one of them. She did it in our game against Belvedere North, and we never looked back. First play of the game. Gigi Nowling, she threw for over 1,300 yards with 11 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. And 3 of those interceptions coming against Guilford, whose safety was All-State. She had 11 interceptions in the playoffs alone, so it feels good. But I'm excited for where this team's going. And I just hope we can keep getting your guys' support, community support, to really support these ladies because they're hungry and they're ready for next year. And I can't say thank you enough. I don't know, ladies, if you have anything else you want to say, but.
Just thank you. We had a lot of fun, and we're happy to play.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. So even with Coach Sterling yelling, I got a chance to watch a little bit of practice one time. Like, she's pretty intense. Like
She's a stickler for the rules.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I have one more thing. So last year, and I might mess this up, but I believe we had a few students signed last year to play at the college level, right?
So we did have one, yes, Brenna Mackey. She was actually one of our assistants this year because in college they play in the spring, whereas in Illinois here we play in the fall, so she was helping out.
And where did she go? She went to
Rockford University.
Rockford University, that's right. So awesome opportunity. I know that that's going to grow and expand as this sport takes off as it has in the last few years. And so some great opportunities, obviously post high school for you all. Potentially in the sport, so pretty exciting times for all of you and for us as a community. So
I would like to say that I think we have some great girls that I can't wait for the Olympics to come around because I think we have some girls that can push those numbers.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, on behalf of the Board of Education, Harlem School District, congratulations on another great season. And kudos to you guys for the hard work and effort you're putting in. Thank you, coaches, for all your time and dedication. We really appreciate it. So congratulations. Come up. Yeah. So we're going to face that way. I'm going to take a quick
Oh, I'm going to just hover over here. Good.
Thank you. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right. First, I'll let you do.
Great job. Thank you, guys.
We'll see you guys next year. It's awesome.
All right, I have one more recognition this evening. As you all are aware, on November 15th, we celebrate School Board Members Day in Illinois. And so it's our opportunity to thank all of you for the work that you do, your dedication. And so I'm going to read something to you up on the board there. I took a chance to just kind of look at the last year, so from kind of July through June. You'll see a few numbers popping up there, the number of action items you approved, the number of personnel employments that you approved, transfers that occurred, policies that were approved, and you'll see the magnitude of the decisions that you make. But I want to read this to you all as we recognize you this evening. And so we want to take a moment to recognize the members of the Harlem School District Board of Education for the service and commitment to our district and community. November 15th of each school year is designated School Board Members Day. Serving as a board member is demanding responsibility and involves making thoughtful decisions, reviewing policies, approving budgets, and supporting the overall direction of the district. It requires time, effort, and clear focus on what's best for students, staff, and the broader community. Your leadership helps guide our district through opportunities and challenges alike. Whether it's planning for the future, addressing current needs, or celebrating the successes of our students and staff, your work plays a critical role in ensuring the success of our schools. On behalf of the Harlem School District, our community, our staff, our students, our families, we want to thank you for your dedication and your thoughtful approach to your role. The impact of your efforts is felt throughout the district, and your service is truly appreciated. And one of the things that I learned as I was doing some research is that, we kind of look at the school board role and what the responsibility is, and there's overwhelmingly a lot of research that supports the role of the school board in impacting student achievement. And so while you may not feel like you directly impact student achievement, you create the conditions for which student achievement can occur. And so a lot of evidence that supports that. And so, but because you get to see me every board meeting, I've got a few individuals here that are going to also say thank you for the things that you do as a school board member.
Oh, look, it's our 5th graders.
From Rock Cut to you, we appreciate everything you do for our school and for our district. Thank you, school board members.
Thank you for helping with the new playground.
We love the new signs.
Thank you for serving our community.
Thank you for all your support.
Thank you for guiding us to a better future.
I'm school board members for the new painting. Always something that you guys have updated to the school.
Thank you for putting students first. Thank you, school board. Good job. Thank you for making our schools a better place to learn.
I just wanted to thank the school board for the new culinary room because it's way better than what we used to have. It was really cramped. And with the new one, everyone's enjoying it. And there's so much more opportunities to what we get to do.
We thank you for all you do.
School board for the updates to the roles to us.
Our school is great thanks to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to thank the school board for providing a good engineering program for everybody.
Thank you for your hard work today.
When you care about students, means a lot to us.
Thank you for your years of service.
Harlem School Board, thank you so much for everything you do. We really appreciate all the support here at Harlem High School and across the district. I know your job is tough and sometimes you seem really thankless, but I just want everybody to know that we really appreciate it and thank you for all that you do.
So, on behalf of, obviously, our leadership team, but our students, our staff, and our community, thank you for the work, your unselfish time that you provide. And so, obviously, Chris has the foresight 5 weeks ago to know it was going to rain today. So we've got your umbrellas there. I also want to direct your attention to some cards that are at your place there from a few of our schools, but you'll notice there's some back here as well. So when the meeting's done, if we get a chance to kind of look through some of the cards that came from some of our students within the district. So again, thank you for your dedication and commitment to our district. We really appreciate it. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, and with that concluding, we have 2 comments from the community. We have one from Caitlin McRoy. It was an online comment. It'll be posted to the minutes after the meeting. It was regarding commendable school report card and community involvement. You guys should have received an email. Okay. Thank you. And with that, I will call Ms. Haddock. There we go.
That was a long.
Gary Adams.
Yes.
So I want to bring up the subject of homeschooled students playing sports at school. Allowing homeschooled students to participate in sports for their local public school is not only fair, but also benefits the student, the school, and the community. Public schools are funded through taxes, and homeschooling families contribute to this funding just as other residents do. Just as homeschooled students in many states can participate in academic contests, part-time classes, or school band, extending access to sports is a logical and just extension. Denying homeschooled students access to sports programs they help support creates an inequitable system. Team sports are a vital part of personal development for students. They teach teamwork, discipline, leadership, and time management while promoting physical health. For homeschooled students who may have fewer opportunities to engage with peers in structured settings, participating in local school sports provides critical social interaction, especially in this day and age. Sports programs thrive on a sense of local pride and inclusivity by welcoming homeschooled athletes, ensuring that talent and enthusiasm aren't excluded simply based on educational choices. In conclusion, allowing homeschooled students to participate in local sports promotes fairness, personal development, and community cohesion. By opening the doors of public schools athletics to all students in the community, Harlem High School would honor the principles of equity, but also strengthen the bonds that tie communities together. Sports are about teamwork and inclusion, values that should extend to all young athletes regardless of their educational background.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could I ask a clarifying question, or can I not say anything at all
What do you mean?
from the public comment?
Sure.
Is there someone that attempted to enroll in an athletic program and was denied?
To my knowledge, they haven't attempted to enroll yet, so she's actually here tonight with her mom. She would like to play sports at the school.
So have you, can I ask another question?
You're going to anyways.
There's a policy that dictates that currently, school board policy.
Correct.
Okay, well, the question was gonna be, have you contacted the school personnel?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
It's for softball, so it's not here yet, so.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
We'll see a policy.
Yeah, I.
Thank you. With that, moving it over to the exciting time of approval of the bills.
All right, thank you. The total payables this period were $1,212,907.36. There were void checks of $709.65. There was one payroll this period in the total amount of $3,516,772.32 for total expenditures of $4,729,679.68. Split out by fund, the education fund paid $3,924,644.52. The operations and maintenance fund paid $334,729.64. The transportation fund paid $207,946.51. The IMRF Social Security Fund paid $125,726.46. And the Capital Projects Fund paid $127,970.05. And finally, the Life Safety Fund paid $8,662.50. Again, for total expenditures of $4,729,679.68. Are there any unanswered bill questions?
Josh, I do have a question for you. Sure. On the voids, why, I mean, I guess my question is, why are we writing checks for 65 cents? And can we amend, maybe possibly talk about amending that policy that we don't send checks out for under $1 or
So
something?
this is to the state per the unpaid property laws.
Okay.
So we run it by date and then send it to them. And
Gotcha.
So like when they say, hey, you may have unclaimed money, that's what that is, so we're just complying with that law.
Oh.
So.
Well, now I know, but that's just, it just looks silly.
Sure. No, I get it.
Go on. Here's your check for 65 cents, I'll spend it all at one place.
If there's no other questions.
Any other questions? Motion to approve the bills.
Motion. Second.
Mrs. Carlson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Hasty?
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
All right, rolling it over to communications and community reports. Our next regular board meeting will be December 16th, 2024. Our next policy committee meeting will be December 11th, 2024 at 4:30 p.m. here. Going into the holiday season, I just hope we still have the same commitment and reach to our families that we've had in the past. I know it's a trying time for a lot of them. We do have some good events coming up that we're going to be doing with the schools to reach out and touch some of those families to. We've done dinners. We're going to be doing Christmas for kids. We are doing fundraisers with the schools. So look for emails or messages to go out. So if you know anything that we want to do or we can do for the community, please let us know.
Mike, can I interrupt? So December 14th, I was going to mention that in my section, but December 14th in the morning is our shopping event, and so our board is obviously welcome to attend that at 8 o'clock at Walmart on Northridge.
Yes.
So I'll send a calendar invite to you all, but.
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, December 14th, and then we're trying to take 300 kids this year.
That's
All right.
amazing. Yeah, I'm in.
Thank you. It's been a long year for that. And with that, I am going to cede my time to Kurt Thompson.
Hey, thank you, Mike. I'll start off, the next Business Services Committee, it'll be at the Committee of the Whole meeting. That's going to be December 11th, back here at 4:30. A few things, I just give a thank you for all my fellow board members, for all that you do in this room and outside of this room. We work as a fantastic team. We don't always agree on everything all the time, and I think that's what makes us strong. But I just wanted to commend, and on the school board holiday, I figured it'd be a good time to call that out. Congratulations to all the teachers in the district that were nominated for the Golden Apple. So I want to see lots in the top 20, right? If we can get 20 in the top 20, that fundamentally.
Let's make it all
work, right?
I
Yeah.
like those odds.
Yeah, those odds would work out better, and to be celebrating the wins of our fantastic teachers. Obviously, we have even more than that that are out there. So congratulations for all those that nominated and all those that were nominated. I wanted to give a shout out to the Harlem Culinary Program. First off, I love anything where I get to be supportive and go eat amazing burgers, and I got the opportunity to do that. The fact that I get to also, besides saying the talents of our students that cook that, give praise to another business in the community that gave their skills to come in and have that program, and then for 5 weeks of their menu, they've got something that our students made, and it wasn't like, I mean, I don't know if you're gonna see this on the social media, it is absolutely crazy. 5 weeks of, the first one was like jalapeno bread pudding bunned burger. The one I had was the Krabby Patty. Who thought high school kids liked SpongeBob? Surprise. But
They all work at the Krabby Patty.
yeah, right.
According to their social media.
But blackened burger with crab, like awesome, creative, like just not holding back our students and allowing us to support it. So we're 3 weeks in, so you got 2 more weeks. Check it out, support our kids, support our businesses that support our kids. So I want to shout that out as well. Tonight, we get to do a vote on the first 2 electric buses that could be in our community, and it really is going to be a test. I think it's potentially beneficial, and I was working with, and you've come, I mean, everyone here obviously has been to the committee of the whole meetings and talking with Josh, but I wanted to make sure that these buses, and they did, had the ability of not just charging in, but they can charge out. So besides being an extra benefit to our school district where we can roll these buses up and provide, maybe not power to the building, at least initially, but having giant, you know, everyone's got the cell phone chargers, right, in their pocket. Think of that, but in a bus, right? So we can power anything in times of emergencies, and same thing with our community, what opportunities we have. So beneficial of trying things for the future, see how it works, and some of the benefits that you may not know are even out there. I had the chance to go to McChesney Elementary's fall music concert. It's always awesome. We have the whole up program there now, and I didn't think it could get better, and it did. We've got first graders singing there now, differences of singing in English and Spanish, and the mixture of all the fun that goes on with that. I also don't know how Mrs. Nelson does it. She does it a couple times a year, getting all the students. It's like a crazy superpower of getting all those kids to learn those songs, to get up there, sing their little mouths out. That sounds funny. They do a good job. I have it written down too, and I still say goofy things like that, but that's me. It's fantastic, and I can't wait to see more. And yeah, seeing the flag football for the girls program is great. I'm glad we could bring them in here. I want to support them as much as we can as possible. What do we do to bring in the middle schoolers to make that more, to build that program, and to make sure they come and are just excited for when they hit where they can play for us. And let's see, public comment, thank you. Supporting anyone out there in our community and make sure they have those opportunities. Thanks for bringing that up. We'll look into that. And this Sunday, it's the Light Up the Parks Parade. It's always a great time. I hope I see as many people as possible. It's not gonna be as warm as it was last year, but it's still always a good time.
Maybe in a school bus.
I wish we could fit everyone on a school bus. We need more people on the school bus, but those that are out there get to collect the candy, the kids have a fantastic time. It's another great opportunity for the community coming together and seeing all the great things in the parade. So hopefully I see everyone out for that. And yeah, that's what I got today, guys. Thanks. Who's up next? Let's see. Evelyn.
Okay, excuse my voice, but good evening, everyone. First, I would like to say I love the artwork. Mr. Adams, thank you for coming in and voicing your concerns regarding students that are homeschooling sports. We will definitely look into that. I also want to say thank you, board, for all that you do. People don't realize the hard work that, the challenges and stuff, but we love doing it. That's why we ran for office, and we will continue to do what we can for our district. I really don't have much to say.
That's probably a good thing, Evelyn.
Yeah, it
Save
is.
the voice.
But mine's is allergies, not a cold.
You need chocolate
I ate a lot of, I ate like 11 little miniature chocolate candy bars, and I laid down so the acid reflux came up. But my doctor said in moderation, but I went
That's the Halloween curse. Fun size, they say, fun size.
But again, I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and, you know,
Yeah.
safe travels to and from, you know, wherever you travel to. But just want everybody to have a happy Thanksgiving. And then also the next meeting, the equity meeting, the committee of the whole will be December 11th at 4:30 here at the admin building. But again, thank you all for coming up and like I said, thank you for voicing your concerns. But that's all I had to report. That's all I can remember right now, but I might think of something later. But thank you.
Thank you. Aaron McKnight.
So kind of something that I'm surprised, I never get to bring up a new topic usually because it's already been covered.
I forgot something.
We didn't
Come on, stop
Neither did I. We didn't think anyone
Girls
for the
flag
content.
football team. If you guys get a chance to come out and see them next year, you will love it. I've been when they were playing with the Park District, and each year they get better and better. And just to see their faces, to be able to do something and to watch them play, I mean, it's really amazing. We really have some good girls, and I know from the middle school, the girls coming on next year. So please, if you can, support the girls flag football team. I mean, you will really get a treat and you will enjoy watching those girls out there. That's all. I won't interrupt anybody else, but thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
I second that with the flag football team. No, I'm still trying to figure out the rules. I went to a couple games, went to the playoff game. Guilford was tough. I actually subscribed to the NFHS just so I could watch the Guilford game, or the state finals and semifinals. So I watched them. I was supporting our Nick 10 family. But yes, the rules a little bit different, but it's definitely what I actually thought it would be and what it was like competitive-wise. It far superseded any of my expectations. So, fun play. The one thing that I wanted to talk about was obviously the school report cards came out, and we spent a lot of time in the committee of the whole discussing those and looking. We're not perfect by any means, but the improvements that we've seen year over year, you know, highlighting stuff like graduation rates and all that kind of stuff. Like this is a tough ship to turn, but it's turning for the better, and it's continuing to turn for the better. Our test scores are up, our graduation rate's up. You can go look at it online. We did have some concerns and questions, and they were already being addressed, which was awesome. I mean, like I said, I want to thank the administration team and all of our educators for really focusing on improving this district. Whether it's only on paper or not, I truly feel that we are continuing in the right direction. Yeah, I talked about flag football. Thank you to my fellow board members for putting up with me and having the conversations, because you know there's a lot of one-on-one conversations that happen behind the scenes. Obviously, we can't all talk together, but we all bounce everything off. We all work together very, very well behind the scenes. So it's not we're hiding anything, but you know we have to talk each other through things, you know, and get different perspectives, and we have a very broad range of thought processes on our board. So I want to thank all the other members. You know, everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. You know, we get a little time off. We get a little time with our families, hopefully. I know softball players probably got a tournament somewhere. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, and I don't know if everybody knows about it, so I figure I got a pretty decent platform size here. Harlem Township also does a Toys for Kids for families that are less fortunate than others. It's a great program there. People come in and donate stuff, and actually the parents will sign up as long as you qualify certain qualifications, and you actually go shopping for your child in there. So it's very, you know, it's not like a bunch of people are there all together. You're scheduled a time to go shop. You're able to pick out what you want to shop with, and you walk out paying nothing and have something to give your children. So that is available. So other than that, I am going to pass it off to. Well, I thank you for your comment. We already kind of yeah. But I'll pass it off to
Rebecca Girls.
Okay, you get to do that.
That is my job. Thank you.
Thank you to all 6 of my other board members. Thank myself.
Thank yourself.
Yeah. I don't have a lot.
We do stuff.
Things are, this flag football, that just sounds like so much fun. I'm a little curious how they do an interception with a flag, so that'd be interesting to go watch next year and see how that works. But thank you for your comment. I've had a couple of people actually ask me as well about homeschoolers for sports, so that's something that we should really be looking into. I'm not sure, isn't that a state law? I thought that was a state, but I'm not sure.
We'll just guide it through policy.
Yeah, okay. But I just wanted to tell everybody, it's interesting to me in the past short time, I know it's only been a few years, but how we jump from Halloween to Christmas. I mean, you see now there's all these Christmas programs going on and everything's, your commercials and your TV and such, but I want to say, let's take a little more time for Thanksgiving. And I know when we were kids, you know, you'd do the silly turkeys and you'd have the turkey parades and you'd do all the things at school, but and I don't know how our schools are doing it. They may be doing Thanksgiving as well. But I want to see more of the excitement for Thanksgiving. I mean, we are a great country. We have all of our freedoms that we've been given that we are thankful for. And so I just, whether you are one person or 100 people gathering for Thanksgiving dinner, I just have a wonderful Thanksgiving to our staff, to our students who get 3 days off to relax and take some time to be thankful for what they have and for a school district that has a lot of the freedoms and choices as well. And that's pretty much it for me. So just happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
Thank you.
Onward.
Thank you, Ms. Carlson. I would just like to, I don't know that, did he mention Baker Street Burgers is the?
Yeah.
Did I name drop?
He didn't mention the
Okay.
name.
Good.
But also, Rascals does a lot with the Christmas for Kids, so thank you
Yeah.
to them very much for all that they do for the community. And there are so many businesses around that support the Harlem community. We just appreciate all of the Harlem community for the support that they have for the school district. And that's one of the reasons why people become school board members, is because of the pride that we have in this school district as members of this community. So thank you all very much for serving on the school board. You all do a great job, and it still baffles my mind because I would never become part of a group that would have me as a member. Look at you guys. So I really love the artwork over at Maple School. They did a terrific job. I talked to the principal over there and talked about the art teacher that they have and the terrific things that they're doing, and it just, it's beautiful. I love what it did to the room. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Have a great, great holiday season.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm going to let you do the education committee.
Thank you. Yes. Next Education Committee will be here December 11th at 4:30 as part of the committee as a whole. Gosh, I'm going off of script. I don't have a script tonight. But I feel like the underlining message tonight and everybody's message is community. Starting with the committee of the whole, to Aaron's point, it was a really fun one. That's one of my favorite meetings anyway, because we get to see a lot of our favorite people. But we really got to celebrate our district and some educators. To Aaron's point, our graduation rates are going up. Referrals for the middle school look fantastic. Our team is really doing, our admin team is really doing the most when it comes to our kids. And our teachers as well. So going into Kurt's points, Baker Street Burgers, having their time, and the culinary program reaching out to Baker Street Burgers. You can get the special till Thursday of every week, so you still have time for this week's. I think it's a play on chicken and waffles.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You're just asking about fried chicken. But just that level of community with our kids. I'd also want to shout out the Educations Pathway. That program is growing and is fantastic. I like to see the diversity because we need educators of all walks of life. That program is obviously going through some changes and growing and getting out in the community, learning and participating, and becoming future educators. So I think that is fantastic. The flag football, I love the fact that not only are they here, but they said we travel the best, meaning our community follows them. Again, community, 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 community. It will save us. Rascals, Mike, everything really Mike does for the community. And going into my fellow board members, you know, you never know what you're gonna get into when you tackle public office. I feel like I was handed a really great group of folks that I really admire and look up to. I can tell you that, you know, the folks sitting at this table, their roots are deep in Harlem. They care a lot about the school district. And I appreciate you guys every single day. I'd urge parents to continue to build that community through showing up not only for sporting events, the events at the schools, emailing teachers when you're having questions, breaking the stigma that you don't have a place in your kids' education, because you do, and you're welcome there. Getting the kids to school, making sure that they have the opportunities of showing up every single day and hitting everything that's happening day in, day out. The Hastings don't celebrate Thanksgiving, so I'm going to have a happy Indigenous Peoples Day, and then shout out to my girls. This is actually the time of year that I met my kids, and the reason that I'm sitting here today. So we have a dinner celebrating the fact that we're a foursome. So, and I hope everybody else gets a chance to have a meal with somebody that they love. And if you don't, find a table or open your table and make sure that everybody's got a meal. So thank you guys. That's all I got.
All right, thank you.
Michael, can I throw in something real quick? I just wanted to say thank you to all of our students for our cool letters and cards.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yes.
Marquette, Maple, everybody. This is
The
too much.
drawings over
Thank
there
you.
are amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. Mike, to
The admin team, thank you for everything.
And even our principals, I saw thank yous on most of the signs at the schools too. So that was very, very thoughtful.
Social media too.
It
Yeah,
made
I
me
felt
smile.
I felt famous for a second. It was-
Like just a little bit. Yeah.
I know. Look at that.
People like us.
Only for one day.
I want to circle back. I kind of lost in thought when I moved on to Kurt. The committee of the whole, I really appreciated that last meeting that we had. I think there was a lot of growth from it for the district. I see so much in our administrators and our principals, our teachers. You can see it from our families on the ground up to all the way to Hack.
And all the way down to the people that work in the kitchen.
That's correct.
The custodians.
But I mean,
all.
we're seeing it when you walk those halls and see the schools and how they're maintained, to the way the kids are doing it. But you're seeing it also. We have an extra grade, an extra 300 kids, 300 some kids at the middle school. Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to steal your thunder. That's my bad. But to add another 300 kids and to have our referral rate actually down 28% from them not being there the year previous. 300 added bodies, still down 28%.
38.
That is.
2020.
There's a lot of work.
That's so much work.
Yeah.
But to also have the report cards where you actually see the graduation rate go, was it 6 or 5?
Almost 6%.
We gave you less work, Terrell.
Almost 6%.
No, but like, it needs to be said,
Yeah.
it needs to be said multiple times just to get it through. So you can follow it up and hit those points and knock it out of the park. But
How did Jeremy spin it? The highest in the Rockford metro area? Was that the
The
word?
highest graduation in the Rockford metro area.
There you
and
go.
with that, and on that bright note, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Michelle Hart.
Thank you. I have 2 overnight travels tonight. One of them is posted as part of the agenda. The other one is sitting at your seat. Both of them are for dance. And I'd like to note that both of them, you must qualify to participate at these events. We always try to get things approved ahead of time so that you guys are well aware. And then our goal is always to hopefully get to the state. So the first one is January 30th through February 2nd, taking place in Bloomington. That's the IHSA dance. And then the next one is February 14th through the 16th, and that one is in Springfield, and that's the IDTA state competition. Again, both of them, the teams would need to qualify, but we'd like to get everything set, so in the event that they do, we're all good to go. And that is my report.
Thank you. All right, now let me get back to where I need to be. Dr. Shelley Lang.
Hi, this evening I have the recommendation to approve the personnel agenda and addendum.
Oh, are we on board?
Yeah, oh, we skipped.
Yeah, skip Josh.
No one noticed or?
Josh noticed.
We skipped Josh.
I was thinking, I was trying to find her.
We like having an audience here.
Let's go to Josh.
We'll go to Josh. Thanks, I was looking for another computer.
I just want to take a second and thank the board for all of your time and effort that you put in for our students in our community. And I know I really appreciate working with everyone and everything you guys do. All right, to kick off my items tonight is a recommendation to approve resolution declaring surplus property at McChesney, Harlem High School, Rock Cut, and Parker Center. All right, next is a recommendation to approve a facility request that's for Harlem softball at the high school. My next three items all relate to the tax levy, and this is the final stop on our tax levy timeline that we started early October. So I'll ask the board to adopt the 2024 tax levy tonight, and I will follow that with the county clerk. And so just to recap, the CPI was 3.4, we're levying 3.6% just because to make sure to capture all the new property on that. One item I wanted to note too is we're required by school code to just note the cash balances again, even though we did that at the budget hearing. So on the last page and in the resolution, it notes that I've attached the cash balances for the June 30th, 2024, which will also, you'll hear again next month for the audit. So those are attached, and that amount is $65,855,063. I just want to make sure that that is on the record. Are there any unanswered questions for the tax?
So you get to finally turn that in and get a little sleep.
Yes.
Until we start for next year.
One important note, this is year 2 of the property tax relief grant, of which we are abating $1,790,709 the second year. And we will see the tax rate continuing to drop.
Excellent. Can you say it a little louder?
The tax rate will continue
Again from
to
the
drop.
back. Yes. The tax rate's continuing to drop.
Banner.
Josh, what happens to, I noticed there were a lot of books on the disposal. Do they go to people that want them? Do they go to like a home schools or private schools?
Do you want me to take some of that?
Yeah, and it really varies, but go ahead and.
So like looking at the books that were on there, some of them go back to a 1992 copyright, and they were teacher types of books, and with standards and everything changing, that would be something that we tend not to do anything with. The ones from Parker Center, typically when they get rid of it, there's pages that are missing or kids have gotten sick on them and things like that, so we tend not to pass those on to other individuals. And then there are other books like from McChesney where there may be extra, so what they will often do is when they have parent nights, have books sitting, that if families want to take books home with them, that they can take them because they've been surplus, and then they can go into our families' homes.
Thank you.
All right, so next is a recommendation to approve the 2025 school maintenance project grant, and I'm proposing that that be written for the high school auditorium. So just a brief update for the public. We've been working on getting the house lights working. The engineer recommended some LED lights. We bought a sample of them. They worked. We've ordered them for the rest of the auditorium. But this would be to update that more permanently, the house lights, and then whatever funds are left over, start working on the stage lights. This is a $50,000 matching grant, so it's a total of $100,000. And so I'm happy to have progress on that, and this continues our investment in that space.
What's the turnaround on the grant time?
So they turn it around early in the new year, I want to say January, February, and then that gives us 24 months to spend that. Obviously, we won't take that this time.
That's
but-
all.
So, not too long.
All right.
Thank you guys for working on the auditorium before we even had to, I don't know how everybody else feels, but before I even had to ask for an update, it was done. So thank you for, taking everybody's comments and researching it and making it happen. I really appreciate you guys.
Question. Barring this going through, how soon of a turnaround could you have a bid put out?
I'll check with the engineer, see what that looks like for designing it, but when he was there looking, because the guy that went and looked was the one that actually installed that system in '08, so he knew a lot about it, and so he was saying that he thought that could be done for more economical than we initially thought, so.
I like
that. So I can give the go-ahead to
I
start.
like the way, yeah, structured great. It'll be done great, economical.
Right.
Is there anything, Josh, that could be offered to some of the CTE students to do with that remodeling, like we have the welding courses?
Oh, maybe not the welding with the.
Yeah, we don't want people welding the steel.
I gotta see what they propose for how to pull that and what that looks like for the system. Because that, as we know, that dimming rack was causing some of the problems. So we gotta see what they spec for what the new system would look like. But I guess we can keep that in mind.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to have, some of our CTEs that are looking at like your engineering
Some of the
students
trades.
and.
Sure.
I mean, on that point, though, you could still, the same way, and you have anything that's getting written up, the specs, just to review and see some of that stuff is beneficial.
Yeah.
And less dangerous.
Yeah.
Good. All right, next is a recommendation to authorize the administration to apply for the Illinois State Board of Education FY25 Property Tax Relief Grant. We talked a little bit at Committee of the Whole that where we fall on the list, there's just under 50 million available. Up until us, there's 60 million there. So we definitely should apply for this. It's probably unlikely this year, but just to recap again, we did get this grant in 2020, which we abated a total of $8.7 million, and then we got it last year, which the 2-year abatement will be $3.5 million. So we've abated over $12 million for the taxpayers with this grant. So, are there any questions on submitting the application?
I love how pessimistic you are every year, and we always get a little taste.
Last
I'm
time
hoping this keeps going.
So last year, the final line split us, so we didn't get our full amount, but we got a little bit of it. So some is better than none.
That's correct.
Love it.
We were one district away from being full amount, so. Good on that? All right. As was stated previously, tonight is a recommendation to award an electric school bus bid to Central States Bus Sales for 2 transit-style buses for a total cost of $777,040. We have revenue or funds to cover $780,000, so with the chargers, we'll be out $3,500 maybe. So that's an amazing opportunity.
Say that again?
Yeah, say it.
How much does that
You were
cost?
really loud on the thing I said costs a lot of money, but quieter on where it was paid for.
Our net expense will be about $3,500.
$3,500 to get $780,000 worth of buses.
And we get to try these things out, we get to see the process of it, there's benefits, like we mentioned before.
Well,
And-
if it wasn't those 2 electric buses, we'd be getting 2 diesel buses, and they're gonna be how much?
Sure. Yeah, they're about $140,000 each.
So
Yeah.
280,000 that we would have to pay for.
Exactly.
So with the money we save, we could put some really trick wheels on it.
But we can't put any vinyl on it, it has
I'll
to
look
be
into that
school bus
later.
yellow, we can't change
They're
that.
already working
I've
on
heard that as well.
electric yellow.
And they look exactly the same, that's another thing, are you expecting them to look different, but no.
Thanks for that. Thank you.
You didn't see the picture? Did we need a hole?
Maybe I did.
When we get them, we'll bring one before the meeting. Everyone can check it out.
Everybody can tour it out front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or to the
Can we
side.
power the
That
meeting
is a good
off of it?
idea.
We'll plug the whole building in
Whole
on it.
building, let's go.
Be able to ruin those batteries before we get them out.
Are there any other questions on that?
No.
Yeah, thanks for all the work on this, getting the grant and everything it takes to get it to this point of just saying yes.
It's really great.
Next is a recommendation to approve a proposal of service with Hagney Architects for chiller replacement at Ralston Elementary. Just a note, the chiller at Ralston died, and our insurance is going to pay for a majority of the cost. I don't have the totals yet, but this is to get this project out to bid so that we can get this replaced this summer.
And you have to use the architects because
So we're required for the permit. So most of this will be engineering work, and they're going to charge us just the time that they spend on this. So the engineer will do most of it, but we're required to have a permit signed off by an engineer and architect.
Did you ever look up the costs of purchasing portable air conditioning units in case we have issues
I have
yet?
not yet.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Josh.
Sure. Okay, next is a recommendation to approve a 5-year lease with the Regional Office of Education for the lease of our Hoffman campus. And then committee of the whole, we had Mr. Bloomquist come and explain all of the great things going on there. I don't know if there's any remaining questions. Okay. Next is a recommendation to approve an agreement with the Common Market to distribute locally grown foods from regional farmers and or small businesses at a cost of $21,217, paid with local Foods to Schools Fund, and Jamie Perolo helped line these funds up, this $21,000 through the state. So.
can't wait to see what you guys do with it.
Yeah, it's exciting.
The last item this evening is a recommendation to approve an agreement with Nucella for teachers of multilingual learners for instruction and cultural support at a cost of $3,300, paid with Title III funds. If there are no questions, that is my report this evening.
Thank you. Now.
Now, I have the recommendation to approve the personnel agenda and addendum. This evening, we have 13 employments, 8 transfers, 2 Federation Bank requests, and 10 resignations. That's it for me today.
Okay. Questions, comments? No? Dr. Young?
All right, first of all, I too want to say thank you to all the board members and the work that you do. Obviously, everyone sees you at board meetings, but they don't understand what goes on behind the scenes and how much work you put into it. So we all appreciate you. And then second, I want to thank you also too for stealing my thunder, which is fine because it's never, in my opinion, it's never enough, or it's never as far as opportunities for us to thank our staff and thank our students, administration for all the hard work that you do to provide education for our kids and provide not only educational opportunities for our kids, but provide opportunities for our kids to what we call maximize their experience in Harlem, right? I mean, every meeting I read the mission statement and what that means and for all of us around this table and what that means for our community. I think was reflective in our school report card, right? And the progress that we're making. And so I'm going to highlight, just a few things. Freshmen on track that we talked about and give you the numbers. We observed a 6.1% increase in students completing their freshman year on track, which is phenomenal for us, which means that our kids are on track to graduate, and that's outstanding. That's what we want. Our graduation rate rose to 85%, up from 79.5% the previous year. We've seen an upward trend since 2013 when the graduation rate was at 71%. So that's outstanding. It's huge. Chronic absenteeism, we hear about that not only in our district but across the nation as far as that being a problem. And it is, and we still got a lot of work to do. But our absenteeism dropped by 2.6% compared to the previous year, marking the second consecutive year of improvement. So that means a lot of things that our administration is putting into place, a lot of hard work our teachers are doing. It's working. I mean, obviously we want it to be better, but it's working, so that's good. Dropout rate. This is also the second consecutive year we had a reduction in our dropout rate. That means our kids are loving being here, and that's outstanding. Designations. All of our schools, with the exception of one, received a commendable designation, which is outstanding. And if you didn't know, this designation is the second highest rating. And for our one school that didn't, we're working hard to turn that around, and the principal and his staff is. And so we'll get there for that. And then for the middle school, just giving you the numbers, and I think it was already said, take a moment to recognize Principal Jerry Harris and the middle school staff on moving from comprehensive to commendable and reducing their disciplinary referrals by 28%. The class of 2029 is down 38% for quarter one. So again, moving a whole class to the middle school, and they have numbers like that, which means that they put in a lot of work to make sure that transition was best for our students and our staff. And so shout out to them. But again, kudos to all of our schools, kudos to all of our staff for the work that they put in. Because I, in my role, am very proud of our report card. So thank you, everyone. And then that being said, we have special guests in the back. I want to appreciate you guys coming. Mr. Hubert, our Director of Secondary Education, will introduce our special guests and the reason for why they're here. Mr. Hubert.
All right, we'll start off with the reason that I only have 2 pages, not 8, so I'll try to keep it brief. If you were to walk into almost any classroom in the Harlem School District, you'd see somewhere posted on the wall the learning standards, possibly the activities the students that the students are going to do that day in class. When we're able to make students aware of the learning targets, they're able to consciously focus and connect with the standard. What the students aren't often aware of are the skills and the competencies that they're learning as they engage in these activities in the classroom. This is one of the major benefits of developing and implementing the Profile of a Graduate. The profile brings an awareness to the tertiary skills and the characteristics students are developing beyond the standards. The Profile of a Graduate is a program used by schools to consist of a collection of skills and competencies that a school community believes students need to be successful after graduation. The profile also helps to establish an expectation to the community and the employers about what they should and can expect from the individuals who graduate from the Harlem School District. Students will be able to build a portfolio of experiences that exemplify the skills and the competencies they are developing as they progress through the school system. Students won't just graduate from Harlem with a diploma, they'll have a portfolio of the meaningful experiences they have taken part in. The profile is also another tool that can be used to encourage students to get involved in the extracurricular clubs and activities because of the roles these activities play in teaching our youth about teamwork and perseverance. We know it takes a village to raise a child, and through the Profile of a Graduate, we'll be able to encourage students to get involved in community experiences, groups, and activities as well. We recently provided a survey to our students, families, staff, alumni, community work-based learning partners, and civic offices to get their input about what they thought would be meaningful for our students. There were 778 responses to the survey.
Hold on, can you say that again? Because that's phenomenal.
778 responses to the survey, and the civic engagement and community service were mentioned numerous times throughout in those responses. Harlem School District's mission mentions helping students realize their unlimited potential by providing an educational program dedicated to academic excellence and the development of strong character. The creation and integration of the Profile Graduate is an excellent way to support the development of a strong character and draw our students' attention to how these meaningful experiences help them develop into the person who they become upon graduating from Harlem. So tonight, Beloit School District developed the Portrait of a Graduate, same thing, different name. If you guys want to change it to Portrait, we can. Beloit School District developed the Portrait of a Graduate 5 years ago, and we're fortunate enough to have 3 individuals tonight from Beloit School District to speak about their experiences with the Portrait of a Graduate. I would like to introduce tonight Monica Christova, representing the Beloit School District, Brian Michaels, the Career Academy coach, and senior student Abigail Middleton. If you guys want to come forward.
Thank you so much for inviting us tonight. Everything that you've been talking about, community engagement and being a part of it, is exactly what the Portrait of a Graduate does. So I'm going to speak briefly about the community involvement, awareness and support we get in the city of Beloit, and then Brian will talk about in the classroom with the teachers, counselors, and all of them. And really the one you really want to hear from is our senior Abigail tonight, to talk about what she's learned by being a part and being exposed to the Portrait of a Graduate. So we, like you, did the same road, sent out a survey, met with community members, asked them, our students, our families, what would it take for a graduate to either enter, and we call it, our graduates are career, college, and community ready. And so they came up with words and we wrote about it. My role was then to connect the community at large. So what you'll find is we do marketing. We had bookmarks made and we brought them to the library and they hand them out to anyone checking out books, little ones, taller ones, so that our message is out in the community. We wrapped a bus in it and asked people for feedback on it. Our community folders, when we do marketing, has our portrait of a graduate and what those skill levels are. When we have speakers come in or our students attend internships with our community partners, we send them our portrait of a graduate beforehand, and we ask them to come into our classrooms and talk about how these skills enable our students to get exposure in business, whatever, nonprofit work, whatever, or how their experiences in life prepared them to be successful. We do have it on a mug, and we have a pen, and I do have a packet. Our thank you notes from our school district are our portrait of a graduate. So any way in which we can share that community connection with what's happening with our students, and again, you mentioned that portfolio of work, it begins their freshman year, and when you graduate, you have a wonderful portfolio of work to share to them. So now, that's kind of the community side of it. We have feedback. We meet with community members periodically and say, hey, have you seen an improvement in our students? Do you see these skills being exhibited? Tell us about an experience you had with our students. So their relationship with us, I think, has expanded and really became much more intimate in the way that they feel they have an impact on our students as well. So Brian, if you can talk about the class. Oh, did you bring our, oh, you've got
And as a former teacher, so I taught for 14 years in tech ed. It's my first year as the Career Academy coach. Seeing the difference in just how our students are acting, but also how they're acting in the community. For our portrait, we have a poster in all of our classrooms, so our students can see this from top to bottom. They can look at it and read it. But realistically, what we're seeing is that they're showing these different skills out in our community. So they're doing the YAs, the job shadows. We're seeing those changes, but another part of it is, like Monica talked about, our portfolio. So as freshmen, they come in, they're trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, with their career. As they go through that freshman year, they're having a whole bunch of different experiences, going out, seeing different things, and looking at the portrait allows them to kind of start making these experiences creating into reflections, like what did I like, what did I dislike, what are some things I can take from that. And so by their senior year, when you're Abby's age, you're going to have a portfolio of all these different experiences from freshman to senior, the job shadows, the YAs, the classes, the curriculum that you went through, and how that connects to our portrait. And so hopefully that our skills that we have will then translate to them going on to doing our post-secondary options, whatever that may be for them. From our teacher aspect, our teachers give a notebook or a pamphlet such like this where we can highlight our different students. So as a student goes through a different experience, or it might be something in the classroom, we can highlight those students, giving these cards to them saying, hey, we saw you be a resilient leader, we saw you be an effective communicator, we saw you do this, that, and the other. And what that does for our students is it shows that they are growing not only as a person, but also as a student. So as a teacher, these are helpful to give those, hey, I'm noticing you do this, please make sure you keep this and add this to your portfolio so later on you can reflect on that as a senior or junior or whatever it may be. So as a whole, we are seeing much more in-depth of kids reflecting on what they're doing, what they're learning, who they're becoming, and their post-secondary options based upon the skills they're learning from their graduate.
Hello.
Hello.
Don't be nervous.
Okay.
You're fine.
My name is Abigail Middleton, and I am a senior at BMHS. I am a Knights Ambassador, and I am in the PACMES Academy. The Portrait of a Graduate model highlights everything students will be able to do after their 4 years spent learning at BMHS. Regardless of what your plans are after high school, every part of the Portrait of a Graduate will help you in your future endeavors. Personally, the effective communication section of the Portrait of a Graduate is especially important. Written and verbal communication is one of the most important things in every career, and BMHS offers many opportunities to practice those communication skills. There are a variety of language classes, and there are clubs like Knights Ambassadors and Link Crew, where I get to practice my public speaking skills as I'm doing right now. To conclude, the Portrait of a Graduate model prepares every graduating student at BMHS for college, careers, and being a contributing member of their community. Thank you.
Well done.
Can I ask questions? I just had 2 questions. The first one is, what kind of community businesses, are they just businesses that the students work in, or are they just businesses that they see students come through the doors, or?
Well, we have a community outreach with our business, as you do with your business partners. So Brian can really address that. We invite businesses, nonprofits to come into our schools, tour our schools, meet with students, speak with our students, have presentations.
Yeah, so every Friday our academy, so like Abby said, she's a part of the PACMES Academy. Every Friday we have a career speaker that comes in and they take that time to talk about their career, how they got there, their background, different obstacles they faced along their journey. We also have a lot of our different industry businesses that come into our actual classrooms, because realistically, once they get out of our doors, they're going to be going into a sector that would deal with, let's say, for construction framing, or if it's for like our early childhood, it might be a daycare setting. So bringing those professionals in really allow us to connect with them, but it also allows us to ask them, like, what are you looking for in your employees? What are you looking for in your next person you want to hire? And that's kind of how we started to build our portfolio, is what are you looking for, and what can our students, plan for to help them get further in role outside of our high school?
The other question I'm wondering is it a paper portfolio that they could carry from business to business? Is it an electronic portfolio?
So for us, we are a Google school, so we do everything with the Google Suite. So it's a Google Sites, so they can upload a English paper or a document or pictures or what. So it just makes it easier for us to have them, contact and put things in there. So that's kind of how we're.
And it's Access web-based,
Yep.
so anyone that's looking at it can log in and see that portfolio.
They can also print all this out and take it to their
Yep.
favorite company or business that may not
They
be in
could,
the
yep.
area and use it like an artist or something that, okay.
Very good.
What is some of the feedback, and I turn to this because I know, as you as well as me in high school, when you have students that don't know, right, having a direction and being like, I'm going to go to a school board meeting and speak in front of people, you go, no thank you, I'll hang out here and get my C, that'll be just fine. What about those students? Are they trying stuff? Are you getting them to buy in? Do they go, I didn't know, I still don't know, but I kind of have a direction, or I know what I don't like? Like, that really is an area to it's hard to catch those kids. What are you doing and how is that working?
Yeah, so definitely as a freshman, it is meant to be their exploratory phase. I mean, we have a freshman seminar class that goes through, what do you like to do? Like, what do you perceive to be good at? What are the things that interest you? And even more so, what are the things that maybe don't interest you? And so that kind of allows them to then pick their career academy, which we have 3 career academies. And so in that academy, it's not so specific where I have to be this, but it also gives them experiences related to that academy. So it allows them to say, hey, I like that field trip, I didn't really like that field trip, I like that class, and they get to switch academy. So not everybody's going to know what they want to do in high school, which is totally fine, but I think the more they can experience in their high school time, it allows them to make more educated decisions when they get out of high school though too. So we try to give as many experiences as possible for our students.
Some good overall involvement then.
Yeah, yep.
What I think the portrait does is encompasses some of those soft skills that aren't as readily noted. I mean, you may have a student that's a 4.0 student, but is not able to speak to a group, or shake a hand, or meet with someone, or know how to network at an event, or what it means to be a lifelong learner, and how do you exhibit that, by reading, or lectures, or attending webinars. So that's why the teachers are very important to this process in the classroom, reaching out to those students who you made a point of, who may not be as confident in sharing what they are, but noting it with them and saying, we want to recognize, Monica, we want to recognize you today. You spoke up, you shared a comment. That's really great communication skills. Here you go. To build those kind of softer skills in the classroom and then outside of it.
This with our pathways would be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, with what we're already doing here with our pathways
Yes.
programs, and then to start with this, I was like, okay, now you picked your pathway, now let's get you out there. And like, Yeah, we might just be stealing this.
Well, you've got a good bit, you have 700 and, what was that, 55, 800?
78.
Surveys back from your community of people, including families and students, saying it's great. Our students did work in the design of the logo. They accepted it. We had some other ones that were more computer generated. They wanted the books and they wanted the diploma. It was interesting when you get feedback from students buying in on this.
So two things. Oh, I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
Like
right
Monica
there.
said, this took a while to
Yeah,
do.
it's
It
5
was-
years in the making.
It was staff, students,
impressive.
community,
Very
parents, industry, it was everybody coming together to have this come to happen, just to see, we want our kids to graduate, but what would you want them to look like?
City council.
Yep.
Yeah.
So two things. One, thank you for coming tonight
Yes.
and
Yeah.
talking
Yes.
to our board and our community and sharing your progress with this, because you could have been anywhere tonight, but you came here for us, and so we really appreciate that, and it shows the power of partnerships, right, and relationships, and so we appreciate that. And then two, I think Mr. Bloom is like really like getting red right now because of the budget, his budget of marketing.
Be kind to him.
Right, because I saw Megan open up the
It's,
scroll there.
when they said they had a pen, it's in the pen.
I looked at it, I'm like, stop it, stop it.
Like that, come on.
So again, thank you. Any other questions for them?
No, just I appreciate you guys coming and being willing to have the collaboration. I know we all play, like, well, I don't think we play you guys in sports. Sorry, I don't sport. I don't think we play you guys, but usually in school districts, you know, there's that competitiveness. I really love the collaboration. And thank you just for being willing to share with us and kind of give us, you know, not something to copy, but something to jump off with and refine ourselves. I really appreciate
This
you
is a
coming
really,
in.
really good start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, and to
Really
have
good
a
start.
resource, and little shout out to Dr. Yarbrough for bringing in the resource, to have a resource to help us through, and again, that collaboration, that's community right there. So
Well, your
thank you guys so much.
superintendent did reach out.
And
Yeah.
Mr. Hubert.
Yeah.
Yes, and Jake.
Yes.
Sorry, Jake.
You're a nice guy. And congratulations on your state report card. I know it's just a number, but boy, good for you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Hold on, I'm not trying to.
Hey Jake, did you know you won a purple tie too?
Portrait of a-
You bet.
You did that on purpose? Stop.
the portrait. We have, what's ours?
Ours is
Profile. Yeah, we have this, but not, just not as robust.
it's not as far.
We still got a few years on the 5, right?
Yeah. We're working.
This is,
Now, I thought that question that Mr. Thompson brought up, and I believe also Ms. Hastings, in regards to it being in conjunction with the career pathways and not another
Yeah.
add-on, that it would be together.
That's what I would assume that we would
Because
be
the
doing it
pathways-
all together.
I look at the pathways as a curriculum, and I look at this as how do I get a job in that,
Yeah.
in that field.
It's kind of like what they said when they
Yeah.
had the 3 different tiers. We have, what, 8 pathways, so like.
Yeah,
that's the-
yeah. So yeah, I look at this as what am I going to do with what I learned here?
Yes.
How am I going to get out here and
Yeah.
Yeah,
do I like what?
it's what
do I
was
like-
said in the work-based learning that they
Right.
just had at the CTE. I talked about it a couple meetings ago, but they had a fantastic work-based learning meeting where they had a ton of people from the community. And yeah, it's exactly what Aaron's saying and Dr. Erb is saying is it fits in with it.
Well,
And
that's
they
what-
build that by going and doing internships and all that stuff.
That's what I would just want to make sure of, is that we're not just putting something else on, that it's part of what we've already established and is in process. And I guess, and then to go back even further, that they kind of mentioned, I think it was Mr. Thompson again, that said something about it being that it's part of the MTSS process, that it isn't something that's put out there and just left out there, but we're visiting that in order to meet the needs of those students who might be lost or not engaging in the activities to get the most out of something like that. I think it's important to have that MTSS and whether it's the counselors that would be having that ongoing dialogue with the students, getting that feedback from what they're getting out of the profile for graduate. But yeah, just making sure those individual students are not left in the cold that might otherwise benefit from it.
I like the term low-hanging fruit, and one thing I got from this was, what does it take to hand out a form and just go, here's a great job, this is a business skill that I saw, like I know what this looks like, you don't know it yet, here's someone that knows what that skill is, and just giving that to you. Like, that can be done really at any age, it's just a form to do, and maybe, maybe you hand out 99 of them, and the kids go, oh, yeah, whatever. But that one that you reach and you realize, oh, I spoke properly, or I was able to overcome something, might be that one thing that clicks and going, oh, I've done that, and I haven't realized that was a skill I can use later in my life. And it's simple, with the cost on those little forms, they don't have to be as nicely as these, or just anything, just to hold on to it.
Well, and
have a record.
yeah, I think the incorporation too in the systems that they're already using, how they use Google. I mean, my kids know how to go around the Google suite better than I do because they've been doing it for years. So incorporating it into something the students are already using and then giving them just a place to compile it electronically so that they can go through and see all of this. I think it's fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Yarbrough, for bringing it.
I mean, let's build on it. I mean, there's recommendations for doing for kids with being kind, and I think that's important, but it's the same thing. It's just building upon it.
Well, it's kind of like, oh, sorry.
There are actually, so just to give you a heads up, a lot of the career softwares that we have to use for career exploration anyway are offering opportunities to build portfolios in, and now you add some intention towards those portfolios. The good news is 2 of them that we're looking at actually will allow students and prompt them towards the end of their senior year to put in a personal email, and they'll have access to that to take with them.
I was gonna ask, how do we
You don't want to get it
transfer from
trapped.
here?
Correct. So they actually will have an opportunity, because Google, once you leave, I mean, you could,
No, that's important.
our emails don't communicate, our student emails purposely don't communicate with outside emails. You don't want people to, track that stuff
for sure.
safety purposes. And this is the way to allow them access to that in the future.
I love it.
So obviously, you'll be hearing some more information about this, as we keep going. Because remember, this is in our strategic plan as well. So.
It's interesting when we've seen how this year particularly they're doing some of the high school awards, where they're kind of going around and just giving these kids here's, you've been doing this week, or doing this week, or something, and to be able to put that into that portfolio and say, hey, let's add that, and then I personally would love to see it even in a printed form that, we have a student who wants to go out to Iowa to go to college, or Idaho, or even some other state, and they can actually take it kind of like a portfolio.
Well, they'll have it,
like
'cause
your-
that's what he just said.
Right.
Maybe they want to make a
They have
banner.
the thing, but they can even, put it in a printed form so that it's not just something they have to email, but they can actually carry it with them and display it, and, it would just be neat to have it compiled.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Well, that's what it
A
takes
mug,
too.
clearly.
I know she hit the.
Maybe put it in one of these pens.
Here's my portfolio.
I know we're trying to wrap this up, I was gonna say, I know she hit the community piece of this, but one of the things that is really important part of this process is the community piece of defining, like, what do our graduates need to be? And so that relationship is like, what is our role in preparing them for life after high school, according to our strategic plan, but like, what does that look like? And so part of that is also the assessment of that, to say, like, are our kids this when they graduate? And so that will be the true test, is when our community comes back and says, yep, I have somebody coming to work for me and they exhibit the skills that you see listed here. Like, that's the real test of this, is that we are preparing our kids for life after high school, and as a community deciding these are what the skills need to be. It's not just the diploma, like they just are Harlem graduates, but they know that if they are a Harlem graduate and they have their diploma, that they are also they are critical thinkers and effective communicators and the other things that they have.
Resilient leaders.
Yeah.
Get him a pen.
Yes, please, give me a pen.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mike.
Moving on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the personal agenda and addendum?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Sterling,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. McKnight,
Aye.
Mrs. Carlson,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings.
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye.
Can I get a motion to approve student travel requests?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. McKnight,
Aye.
Mrs. Carlson,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings.
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve facility requests?
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Carlson,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings,
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. McKnight.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve resolution declaring surplus property?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings, aye.
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling.
Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. McKnight.
Aye.
Mrs. Carlson.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve 2024 certificate of tax levy?
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Hastings,
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling.
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. McKnight.
Aye.
Mrs. Carlson.
I have to be the oddball and say no.
Okay.
Sorry.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Oh, shake your head.
I don't understand.
I don't either.
Can I get a motion to approve 2024 tax levy resolution? Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling.
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. McKnight.
Aye.
Mrs. Carlson.
I have to go no with that one.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve resolution to levy 2024 taxes for certain purposes?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Sterling.
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. McKnight.
Aye.
Mrs. Carlson.
That's a no with that too.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Oh, wait, we're not
Oh,
done.
yeah.
Oh, Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings.
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye.
Can I get a motion to approve the 2025 school maintenance project grant opportunity?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Thompson.
Absolutely.
Mr. McKnight.
Yes.
Mrs. Carlson.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings.
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling.
Aye. Can I get a motion to approve, to authorize the administration to apply for the Illinois State Board of Education for the FY25 property tax relief grant?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. McKnight.
Aye.
Mrs. Carlson.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings.
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling.
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve the award to electric bus bid to Central States Bus Sales for the 2 transit-style buses at a cost of $777,040?
Yes. Or, sorry. Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Carlson.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings.
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling.
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. McKnight.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve a proposal of service with Hagney Architects for a chiller replacement at Ralston Elementary?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings.
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling.
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. McKnight.
Aye.
Mrs. Carlson.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve the 5-year lease agreement with the Regional Office of Education for a lease of Hoffman Campus?
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Hastings.
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. McKnight. Mrs.
Yes.
Carlson.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Can I get a motion to approve an agreement with the Common Market to distribute locally grown foods from the regional farmers and/or small businesses at a cost of $21,217, paid with the local foods to school fund?
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling.
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. McKnight.
Aye.
Mrs. Carlson.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve agreement with Nusella for teachers for multilingual learners for instruction of cultural support at a cost of $3,300, paid with Title III LIEP?
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Sterling.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. McKnight.
Aye.
Mrs. Carlson.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mrs. Hastings.
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye.
Any more announcements or discussion?
I was gonna say one thing, mine's silly, and then you can do this.
Mine's silly.
I'm going to leave some of these out because I like to share them with the board, and no one has actually been in our meeting long enough, thanks Josh, to be here. These silly pins, which are fantastic, and some may recognize it, some may not, are made by a former retired teacher and friend of the family, Bonnie Johnson. And she makes these for every holiday, and she makes them for at least 10 plus classrooms in our district for every one of these. And I think they're fantastic. I know people that have gone, she's been doing it for at least 30 years. And how many of these pins, it's gotta be well over 1 million one of these pins. And they make so many kids' days, they make so many adults' days, and so on. And I'd love to, that she shares them with our kids and our community. And I have a few, and I would share them with the board. And if anyone wants a turkey pin, as we're at here for Thanksgiving, or indigenous turkeys, maybe, please, I'll just have them up here. Please get one. And if you ever run into Bonnie Johnson around town, say thank you.
So is she working?
Huh?
Is she working?
No, she's retired. I wish we could bring her back.
Formerly retired.
Huh? Did I say formally retired? Former teacher that's retired.
Yes,
there we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
President, union president.
There we go. How many pins do you have? There we go.
I just heard that.
Well, we have one for you
We've
right
got
here.
you covered.
Thank you.
I just want to say, because he's going to be quick to, give out the thank yous, and he's going to be quick to voice how much everybody else had in a part in everything. But I want to thank our superintendent, Dr. Yarbrough, for the report card results as well.
Yeah.
We are only as strong as our leader, or they are only as strong as their leader. So thank you so much for leading our district and loving our district. I know where your heart is, and your heart is in Harlem. And I think we're really, really lucky to have you here. So thank you for everything that you do on the daily.
I think you have to wait till superintendent appreciation.
I appreciate our superintendent every day.
Any more?
I just had a comment. I know I'm the oddball with the tax levy, and I understand that, but my concern is just that I think we could have changed the number. I mean, I understand that we put it at 3.4, and it's not as high as it could have been.
3.6.
Okay, 3.6, yes, because it started at 3.4. But it would be nice to see it at possibly a half or 1%, or, even looking at the budget as we look at it, let's think about things that we can save to actually, not have to have a tax levy that's more than a percentage for our taxpayers, who are obviously keeping our whole school district together and paying for everything that has to be paid for. So it's just a...
I've politely critiqued the fact of how many meetings we've had.
I
And now with the
understand that.
meeting of the
I
whole,
understand.
we're all here.
I understand.
And this is, I could see if there was objections leading up to this, then it's fine. But, I mean, I'm terrible with my face of speaking through it, but the surprise when you hear general silence or a couple questions you did
Oh,
have
yes.
through the process, but nothing to the point of voting no.
Oh, I
And with a
voted no.
majority of no would have put the district in.
Financial ruins.
You're just,
I understand.
again, I'm not opposed to, I'm exactly right, like, we are fiscally responsible, I have faith in Josh, I review Josh's work, we are the guardrails to make this work. But at the end of the day, a fiducial or fiscal responsibility, we have to do it.
Yeah.
And saying no at this point without feedback up to that point, I'm not calling you irresponsible, but a vote like that, it seems irresponsible to me.
I understand that, but I know I have brought up a lot of things with Josh, and I know that I have talked about in the past. It took me a lot of understanding to get to the point of, and even through October, I know, because I brought up a lot of things about it, and I have said no to both the levy and the budget at different points, different times for things, but it's just, I would like to see the district save more than we take from our stakeholders, and I understand that, but it's
That's just a very, when you use that broad term,
Oh, certainly.
it's easy to paint with that brush, and then when that brush literally, pardon my pun, is actual brushes that go to our kids' hands and how that's done and factoring all the work that's there. I think we need to review. Business services are done so that we review and we make sure that these things are approved. We've gone a lot with it when it comes through software, through the funds that we had through the pandemic funds, and then removing those, and the hard work that every teacher has to figure out if the software is needed, is it redundant, all of that is done. And we get to voice this point. Again, I just come back to that our voice is support of our community and our district and this budget and all the work that Josh does. Yep. That's part, right? Yep. I let off, our differences are our strengths. I would just challenge that with such a loud voice of it, a no is being more, even up to this point going, here's the detailed reasons why I'm not going to, so we can discuss this, we can work on that, and we can bring those up throughout the year.
Can I ask a question I've been wanting to ask for a while? I'm sure you've heard the saying, like, putting your money where your mouth is. So these are voices that we hear frequently, the stakeholders and the tax levies, and every single time the district goes to spend money, we seem to hear from them, and then we hear on hot button items, they want control over what the kids are reading, they want control over what the teachers are teaching. What right does one have to one's education if they're not going to take a responsibility to that said education? So essentially, these folks are asking for all of the rights to these kids' education, but they don't want any of the responsibility of paying for it. How much sense does that make?
I understand.
And where's your pushback on these items? Like, I'll be curt, no pun intended. It is irresponsible. It is irresponsible. And if some of these policies that are being thrown around actually happen, the entire burden will be on the community. So I think what we need to highlight, instead of, we should have done this, we should have gone down to a percentage, we should have gone down to a percentage and a half, is the fact that it's gone down year over year over year over year.
Last year, inflation was at 7.1, and we only did.
And we didn't match it.
And we didn't do a referendum. We didn't do anything. We ended up right at the 5% for our levy, even though we couldn't even cover inflation.
So these folks that want to have all of the rights to our kids' education, and I say our kids because there are actual board members, multiple board members at this table with children in the district, the folks that want to come in and have all the rights to their education but don't want the responsibility in paying for it, they can gladly take the potholes. I'll take the schools.
Successful children are cheap. Unsuccessful children are expensive on the community in so many ways, and we have the opportunity to build successful children and successful community.
Like, this isn't just a board position for some of us. This is personal.
I understand that.
We have children.
I have 3 children that went through the district as well, so I
Went through
completely
the
understand
district.
it. Yes, they are.
And I respect that. I respect the fact that you raised 3 kids, because raising kids is hard. I respect the fact that you had 3 kids go through the Harlem district. But I will tell you, raising a kid right now is a whole entirely different world. And it's really hard when you have people constantly fighting against you.
Completely understand.
It's hard enough just to be a parent. So if they would like the rights to all of these pieces of the education, well, then put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
And they can talk to me about that and public comment to me about that all they would like. I'd gladly take it. But for real. And this is our responsibility as a board to push back. This is our responsibility as a board to ask those questions. Our responsibility as a board to go with the receipts and say, year over year, Josh has decreased it. Year over year, we have saved millions of dollars. So, I'm sorry, I'm off of it. No.
Motion? Yeah, I'm just waiting to make sure you guys are all done.
No,
Yep.
put my pins out, we'll be good.
I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.